Hi, I'm Drew Locher. In this episode, I'd like to review the model I use for a lean management system, what I refer to as an engine for continuous improvement. There are numerous models out there, the most famous of which is probably the model that Toyota uses to describe its vaunted production system. It has two pillars, a foundation, and a roof. The model that I use pulls together the alphabet soup of lean concepts and terms in a way that explains how they fit together in a comprehensive management system. I've been told by numerous people that this model has really helped them get their heads around the various concepts. I've heard this from attendees in our Lean Leadership program at the University of Michigan, participants in our on-site program, or at presentations at conferences. And that is why I wish to share it with you in this video. I hope that you too find it helpful. As I mentioned, I refer to the lean management system as an engine for continuous improvement. So we start with Dr. Deming's Plan, Do, Check, Act, or PDCA improvement cycle. As with any engine, it needs some form of fuel or energy to keep running. That fuel is supplied by the various activities that form the lean management system. The system consists of a set of activities that leaders are involved in at some level, as active participants or recipients of the outcomes of those activities that others perform. Further, these activities, when performed properly, can engage the general workforce in continuous improvement. Team members throughout the organization should periodically participate in each of these activities at some level. Dr. Deming always said that improvement should be directional. Improvement efforts should be aligned with the organization's long-term vision, its challenges for the coming year or years, which are often broken down into shorter-term goals or targets. The long-term vision is often created or at least honed during the organization's strategic planning process, which is typically conducted annually. Some people refer to this process as policy deployment, Hoshin Conry, and probably other terms I am unaware of. Challenges for the upcoming year or years are identified, as well as various strategies that leaders believe will address those challenges. Most often, this is an activity involving senior leaders in the organization. Middle and frontline leaders are responsible for deploying the strategies and socializing this information to the rest of the organization. It is imperative that leaders share the information with all associates, reinforce its importance, and provide updates when necessary. This information needs to become a part of an organization's regular language, and not just reside with senior leaders, or become wallpaper in the form of posters placed throughout the facility. The direction established can be very motivational for the organization and its members. It provides purpose. It can help explain not just what the organization is working towards, but why. And humans have been in search of purpose and why for thousands and thousands of years. So how can leaders socialize this important information? Most commonly, periodic updates are provided to all members of the organization through town halls or all hands meetings or whatever term you use. I encourage leaders to conduct these on a quarterly basis. However, more frequent reference is needed, as we'll discuss shortly. The next element of the lean management system is often referred to as daily management. During this activity, frontline and middle managers meet on a regular basis with their natural work teams. Ideally, this is daily, or each shift in a multiple shift operation. In some environments, like office environments, several times a week is usually sufficient. These are brief interactions, about 15 minutes. Recent process performance is reviewed, as well as upcoming goals, assignments, and the like. Gaps in performance can trigger deliberate process improvement efforts if teams are struggling to meet its short-term goals. The content of these interactions, which I often refer to as huddles, can vary to some degree each day. For example, perhaps on a particular day of the week, more broader measures of system performance are reviewed. Other days, the status of some process improvement efforts can be shared. It is also during these interactions that updates on the strategic initiatives can be provided when necessary. Periodic references can be made to the vision, mission, and guiding principles of the organization as well. In such forums, the longer-term direction of the organization can indeed become a part of its regular language, thereby sustaining its motivational benefits. The key is to do all this and keep the huddles brief, or organizations will not continue with them. A vibrant idea generation process is part of the lean management system. The number of ideas generated and or implemented are common measures of associate engagement in a lean enterprise. Such processes are best administered locally by frontline and middle managers. Associates should be able to post ideas that stimulate discussions among the team members and its leader. Decisions to pursue or not to pursue particular ideas should be made locally. Tracking of those ideas selected through the Plan, Do, Check, Act process can also be done locally. All of this better ensures much needed communication to maintain people's positive attitudes about the idea system. The idea generation system needs to be simple, visible, and highly responsive. There's no need for an idea committee that meets periodically to vet ideas submitted throughout the organization. Ideas cannot fall into a black hole where timely response is not provided to the idea initiator. A review of ideas that have accumulated can perhaps be done during the aforementioned daily management process. Perhaps 5 minutes can be set aside on a particular day of the week to review them. If necessary, a separate process can be established by the frontline and/or middle manager. Andon is a Toyota term that I've been told means paper lantern. It is a process for team members to identify and escalate non-standard conditions and problems. The key is to recognize that Andon is a process. First, standard conditions that will be subject to this process must be clearly identified. Think about it this way. Ask yourself what non-standard conditions need to be immediately escalated and which can wait for the next huddle. Then a response process needs to be identified. Who will respond? In what expected time frame? How will the response be fed back to the escalator if it is not apparent? All of this needs to be worked out. Another key is to identify systemic or recurring problems. Too often, I have seen Andon processes stop with a corrective or containment response. There's no recognition of the repetitive nature of the problem, no root cause analysis, and no preventative measures implemented. In other words, there is no practice of Plan, Do, Check, Act. Andon processes strongly engage team members. And I want to be clear, effective Andon systems can be applied to service and office environments as well as manufacturing. 5S, a process of getting and staying organized, is another component of the lean enterprise. Many lean enterprises have some form of 5S process. However, I have seen some troubling approaches to this subject. Most commonly, organizations are unclear of the objective of 5S. They confuse the appearance of organization with the real objective, which is a true, functionally organized workplace. Signs, labels, lines, and the like can certainly give the appearance of an organized workplace. However, only by directly observing work being performed can we be assured that it is being done in an organized way. Another common cause for concern is that the observations made during a periodic scan or audit results in a corrective, even punitive response rather than real PDCA. It isn't about getting people to return things to their identified locations, but to understand why people struggle with doing so. And I'm also concerned with who is involved in the periodic scans or audits that are almost always part of the organization's sustain model and therefore part of their lean management system. The local leader should always involve team members in this important activity, usually rotating associates. This makes it clear that 5S is a team-based system. It cannot be some form of 5S police who do the scans and audits alone. Further, leaders can use this activity to connect with their team members on a one-on-one or near one-on-one basis. They can take the opportunity to further teach people the 5S concepts and reinforce their importance. Now, 5S audits are one type of go-see activity that leaders can perform and engage their natural team members. There are other such activities. These are often referred to as Gimbal walks. I've been told that Gemba is a Japanese, or perhaps just a Toyota term, meaning actual place where work is performed. There should always be a focus for such go-see activities. It is not about meandering about without purpose. A focus can be on identifying waste or non-value-adding activities in a particular process. It could be on specific standard work performed in an area, where close observation of that work will be performed. It could be to follow the flow of a product or service, looking for impediments to flow or other issues. And sometimes it isn't a walk at all, but rather a stationary activity. We also say, never walk alone. The frontline and middle managers should take a team member or members with them on these go-see activities. They become excellent opportunities to connect with the team members on a one-on-one or near one-on-one basis. The leader can deepen the understanding of the involved team members in the concepts of flow, waste, standard work, and the like. And of course, a multitude of opportunities for improvement will be identified as a result of these activities. In fact, sometimes there are too many and can be overwhelming. I always suggest to leaders that they simply identify one or two opportunities at a time for follow-up through the PDCA process. Another important element of the lean management system is what is referred to as voice of the customer processes. Organizations often receive important information from its customers that can drive continuous improvement. And I am speaking well beyond simply tracking and following up on customer complaints. There are numerous interactions with customers that take place every day. The key is to gather this information and provide it to those who can act on it. Some leaders and their teams are directly involved in these activities, such as customer service. Other leaders need to receive this information, share it with their teams, and follow up through the PDCA process. Lean enterprises have vibrant voice of the customer processes. Opportunities for improvement are the outputs of these activities. Now, we always want to be practical about this. All opportunities will not be followed up on. They need to be vetted, ideally locally, like we discussed with the idea generation process earlier. The graphic in the middle of the model can be used for this purpose by assessing the potential impact versus the level of effort required for each potential opportunity. Of course, some definition must be provided to distinguish high versus low impact and high versus low effort. For example, low effort can imply a moderate investment of time, money, and resources, perhaps under a certain dollar threshold. Opportunities that are low impact and high effort are deselected. They are just not worth the investment to pursue. Of course, strategic initiatives are high effort, high impact opportunities. They typically require a significant investment in time, money, resources, and involve a higher level of risk to the organization. Such opportunities often require cross-functional team approaches and will require approval of more senior management. But opportunities that require low effort should all be pursued, perhaps with a priority given to those that are high impact. Frontline and middle managers should feel free to pursue these working with their natural work teams, and with the support of others as necessary, of course. Those opportunities that are selected for follow-up will then be tracked through the PDCA process. But which PDCA process? There are several improvement methodologies available. All are variations of PDCA. Which is selected will depend on the scope and scale of the undertaking, as well as the other social benefits desired. For improvement of complex systems spanning multiple departments, value stream mapping, or VSM, is the appropriate methodology. If the opportunity lends itself to quick change and requires a team of people to do so, a rapid improvement or Kaizen event approach is better suited. Perhaps the effort requires more thought over a longer period of time. A3 storyboards are excellent for such opportunities. Or perhaps the opportunity is sufficiently small in scale that it lends itself to rapid PDCA cycles or kata, with just the local leader and their natural work teams involved. No need for an event or a project, no need for charters or cross-functional teams with kata. The key is to apply the appropriate methodology to the opportunity to better ensure success. Now, we are asking a lot of managers to be involved in all these activities and at some level in addition to their other responsibilities. One way to make it easier on them is to apply visual management techniques throughout. It really should be a common theme in all the lean management activities. For example, 5S utilizes visual techniques to make it easy to recognize issues with sustaining effective workplace organization. Daily management processes should be supported with visual displays of performance and other information required to effectively and efficiently run the huddles. The very nature of Andon makes non-standard conditions and problems visible. I could go on, but I think you get the point. Another tool that can help leaders is leader standard work. It provides a plan for the leader for performing all of the activities that are part of the lean management system. When properly developed and applied, leader standard work can better ensure that the lean management system is sustained over time. The activities of the lean management system will keep the continuous improvement engine running. As I said at the beginning, many people have told me that this model has helped them put all the pieces together with regard to the various lean concepts and techniques. Hopefully, you found it helpful as well. Goodbye.